Good morning to all of you.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Class we will discuss about addressing some of the issues related to the implementation of a school development plan. We will see that what are the those issues and what we can do to assess or redress those issues. So that we will try to discuss in this class. So before starting my uh, discussion in this topic, I will like to invite your opinion that what are the some of the issues that you think that needs to be addressed for the successful implementation of a school development plan. Can you tell somebody of you, can you tell that what are the issues, what may be the issues as per your opinion?
Sir, inadequate planning accordingly need based.
Need based and accurate planning. Okay, so inadequate planning, this is the one of the thing that Pallavi is saying. Any other one? Are you getting the question what I am trying to ask?
Sir, are you asking about the hindrances that are coming for the planning?
uh, Yes, for the time being, you can tell about the hindrances. Actually, when we talk about the issue, there is a little bit broad thing that I will be talking later on. So, for the time being, you can talk about the hindrances. What are the hindrances that will affect the effective planning of a school development plan? Yes, Chitra, can you tell?
So what I feel that proper monitoring of the issues has to be also done.
In the lack of proper monitoring, that it will affect the school development plan, implementation of the school development plan. Okay.
So lack of resources also, human resources and material
Lack
resources.
of resources. Now I will like to listen from those who are not talking in the class. So Pallavi is replying very frequently. Financial resources, Subhasri is saying. Yes, please, someone was
Sir,
trying to say.
some parents are not participating in school development plan.
Non-participation of the stakeholders.
So communication gap between the stakeholders.
Communication gaps. So if there will be a communication gap between the stakeholder, then it will affect. Okay. Conflict with members, Subhasri is saying. Sujata, effectiveness of teaching learning process. Okay. Biswaranjan. Biswaranjan is not saying anything.
Yes, sir.
Lack
Yes,
of
sir.
infrastructure. Ha.
Sir,
And if Sita Raut is also not replying. Biswaranjan, please tell.
सर जो डिफेक्टिव डेवलपमेंट पॉलिसी जो रिक्वायर्ड नहीं होता फिर भी उसको पास किया जाता है
Okay, so
ठीक तरह से काम नहीं करता वो
in the policy. Okay, and Rosalind is also saying problem in the implementation. Okay, and what about Ansuman? I am not listening you.
Yes, sir.
Ansuman was very much active in the classes, physical class. His question was very much critical, but in the online he is a little bit slow. Okay.
No, sir. I am listening to this. What's it?
but side by side you should ask also. Okay, so Bhanuja Misra is joining now. So first I will start with the hindrance and the issue that I was supposed to talk, that Chitra was asking for the clarification whether the issues is related to the hindrance. So when we talk about the issues and hindrance, yes, hindrances, what are the factors that restrict the implementation or a progress, that is the known as a hindrance, is a part of a issue. But when holistically, when we used to see the issue, when we talk about the issue, so here the hindrances we also used to count, which is obviously in the negative sense, which will move towards the negative direction. But together with that, we used to see the some of the things that may be a positive aspect, that may be even the sometime a neutral, unnecessary. So when we talk about the issue, it covers all the aspects that are restricting, that are contributing, and that are the neutral one. So all the things related to that phenomena or a process or any kind is known as a issue. When and whereas when we talk about the hindrance, we used to talk about the thing that is restricting the progress. But when we talk about the issue, it covers all the things, all the aspect, whether better to say that all the aspect related to the phenomena, that is known as a issue. And that's why we used to supplement issue with the challenges. We used to write a issue and challenges. It is a supplemented to that. So when we talk about the issue, so it covers all the things. It is a little bit deeper in sense. That is the point of saying. Okay. So now come to the issue that you have talked here, like that the someone has talked that the policy is not appropriate and adequate, sometime the conflict issue, sometime the financial issue, so many issues that you have talked here. All those issues are very much correct, but I have categorized those issues in my own way. I have categorized the issue that is related to the human resources, the related to the physical resources, the related to the coordination and the context. Because we know that in the any educational organization or institution, even if we talk broadly in the any organization or institution, whether it is a educational or a not a educational, it comprised of the four things. That one thing will be the human resources, obviously. The other one will be the physical resources that supports the human resources in the proper functioning, because the major role of the physical resources is to support the functioning. For sake of example, you may talk about that the computers or a typewriter or even the AC or a light or a sitting arrangement or a laboratory, when we talk about the school laboratory or a library or even the washrooms, whatever it is. These are the physical resources that supports the proper functioning. Suppose that the sitting is not very much comfortable, the classroom are not comfortable, like that. If that is the situation, then obviously the working will be affected. So the major role of physical resources is to support in the functioning. The next one comes the coordination. Coordination is related to the proper and well adjusted relationship between the different stakeholders and the different employee. Coordination, here we may talk about the between and among the different employee. Suppose that we have 4-5, suppose that the 10 teachers we have, so the proper coordination among the teachers is very much required, or the coordination between the teachers and the administrators, teachers and a clerical staff, teacher and a supporting staff like a class 4 staff, even the coordination and a cooperation to the management is very much required. So it provides a well adjusted work environment. When we talk about the coordination, so it provides a well adjusted work environment. And the next thing is that I have kept here the context, because whenever we talk about the education institutions, so some of the time the situation comes that whatever you have planned, it is not wrong, it is not like that it is not appropriate. It is very much appropriate, it is very much correct, it is very much praiseworthy, but it is not in context to the school where the school is situated, in which environment, in which community, or the society where it is situated, what are their socio-cultural norms, even the economic condition, that is the financial condition, so like that, socio-financial, socio-economic condition, like that. So it may not be like that whatever you have planned or whatever you have thought of, it is inappropriate, it is not appropriate, but the thing is that it is not in context with the school for which you are working. So here the context also matters, and that's why I have taken the context when I was trying to discuss about the issues in the implementation of school development plan, because this is the one of the biggest issue. If it is not in the context, then it will be difficult. How it will be difficult, what are the factors, and how we will address it, that we will see in the next part of this presentation. So the first thing is that the human resources. When we talk about the school development plan, and within the school development plan, the human resources, leadership is one of the important part for leading the organization. And one more thing I would like to mention here, that the several researches conducted over the world, and especially in India I am talking, it says that there is a serious lacuna of the leaders, educational leaders in India, those who can lead the educational institutes. Even you might have found that one of the research studies says that 75%, more than 75% of the vice chancellor in Indian university are not capable of holding the post of vice chancellors. This is the study, that the outcome of the study says that the 75% of the vice chancellor, those who are holding the post in the Indian university, they are not eligible. They don't have a capability to hold the post. And even the similar situation is there in all strata. All strata means even the vice chancellor, even the heads of the department, even the principals, even the headmasters. They are not capable enough to hold the post. Not capable enough, it is not like that they are not academically sound. Academic aspect I am not talking. Even I am not talking about the working ability, means they are not capable of working, or they are biased, or like kind of a thing. That aspect I am not talking. However, those things also exist in the academia. Here I am talking that they may be very good academicians, they may be very good researchers, but they are not good leaders, because in order to lead the educational institution, you must have a leadership quality. And yes, I am getting some of the text in the chat. I will take care later on. Even that is the also serious issue in the politics even. However, this is the beyond of discussion of this classes to discuss about the politics, and it will take the whole discussion in some other direction. So I am not going in that way, but the research says, and whatever I have felt in my the very small age, that there is a serious lacuna of the leaders. Leaders in no terms that we have elected them, we have selected them, they have got the appointment. No, not in terms of that. Leaders, I am talking in terms of the leadership quality. It's a very serious issue, and they don't have. And since they don't have a leadership quality, so it affects in the functioning of an institution, in the coordination mode that I was talking about, that there should be a coordination. And since the leader is not effective, so there will be not a proper coordination among the stakeholders, because suppose that leader will find an ability to coordinate, or sometime the leader will be acting like they are the boss, they should not listen the others. In fact, in order to lead any organization, we must listen also. And if the opinion, if the point of the other stakeholder is also praiseworthy, then we should incorporate, we should use those points, those suggestions. It should not be like that, since I am a boss, so whatever I will say, that will be only correct, and what are the others are saying, that is not a correct. I have seen several administrators, they don't want to meet the students, they don't want to meet the subordinate staff. So what is that? This is the one of the issue in the educational leadership. And in this context, when you will find that there are several courses are being organized by the different agency, like that when you will find the university system and even the open university system, because this type of courses usually those who are in service they used to take. So majority of these courses will not be in the regular mode. However, the regular mode courses are also there, but majority of the courses you will find through the UGNU or through the open university. UGNU have a course like that, the diploma in higher education management and leadership, something like that. Even the postgraduate level courses also they have, or this kind of input you will find in the refresher course or orientation course that are mandatory for any faculty who are in the university or a college system for the promotion. If you have not did those courses, you won't be promoted. Means it is barrier, it is not a barrier, it is a mechanism to ensure that they have undergone through those courses and they will develop some of the ability in that. Okay, and for the school teachers also, these type of courses are being conducted at a time to time, and for that there is a institution at a national level that is known as a NIPA, National Institute of Education Planning and Management. At several states also have opened the similar kind of institution. Like that, when you will go to the West Bengal, you will find that the West Bengal Institute of University of Educational Planning and Management they have. Otherwise, other states have a CMAT. Okay, this type of institutions are there to sensitize, to develop the leadership quality, because it is one of the very burning issue, and that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, effectively. And whatever I will discuss in this part, all the part is affected by somehow the leadership. Somehow, it is not like that it will be fully affected. No, fully it won't be affected, but somehow the effect will come. Like that, when we talk about the work environment, sometime in the some of the institution there is a lot of internal politics, lot of internal conflict, lot of dispute, and as a result what happens that the overall work environment get disturbed. Okay, get disturbed, and obviously it will affect the functioning of the educational institute, and that needs to be addressed by the leaders, that the educational institute, head of the educational institute, at appropriate time. Otherwise it will create such a environment that won't be good for the institute or the students. Then the work distribution, it is also one of the very important aspect when we talk about the human resources. Sometimes what happens that and it is seen also, those who used to work, they will get them more work, and those who won't work, they won't get any work, which in turns affects the mental setup of the staff. And obviously if the work distribution is not even, then it affects the functioning of the institute. That is a very obvious kind of a thing. That's why I am not having the much deeper discussion here. Then the next thing is that if someone is working with dedication, punctuality, optimum honesty, then their work, their contribution should be appraised. And appraisal here is not only for that those who are working, for all the staff there should be a work appraisal, at least at the end of every year, to recognize their contribution and to give the appropriate promotion, so that they will be motivated. And obviously we know, and we had already so many discussion that the time, the technology, the situation is changing day by day at a rapid state, so the professional development of the staff, all the staff, needs to be taken care, to equip them with the latest trends and technology in that area, so that they can work effectively, efficiently. Otherwise it will also affect the functioning of the staff or the employee employed there. Then we will see about the physical resources. Before the physical resources, I will like to have a small question answer session here, so that if you have any question, or I think there was some query in the chat box, I will take now. And if you have any question, you can just put in the chat box, or you can ask me also. 1 minute. Chitra is saying, in the foreign countries, teachers are highly paid and given utmost respect, which is lacking in India, and that's why they are not motivated to do extra or beyond their capability. Yes, you are right, because teacher must be paid at least to, and I don't think that it should be to only the teachers. All should be paid, even right to the student, to the research scholars, to the teachers, researchers, and everyone. What happens, I am saying you, suppose that just see that in this pandemic, to whom we are looking, we are dependent upon the researchers, we are dependent upon the scholars who are day and night working to bring out some medicine, effective medicine, or a vaccine for this coronavirus. So we are looking towards the researchers, scientists, and for our comfort also we look towards the scientist. And since my wife is doing a PhD in IMMT, I used to go and I have interacted with some of the scientists. They used to work, and even the PhD scholars in the education field also, they used to work day and night. But if they have to think that okay, the salary is too small, so what will be the treatment of my wife, what will be the medical facility to my parents, what will be the fees for the education of my children, so they won't be able to focus in their research work. Government should take care of all those things. And I know that some of the western country, even the European country, they used to take care of their children, their family, because if they will be thinking that what will be to my children, even the security, this is the time to bring my children from the school, this is the time to drop my children to the school, what will be the security, what will be the old parents, so obviously they won't be able to focus much. So all should get the respectable salary and the security, and the leader at the top of the country must ensure that. If you are not ensuring that, then whatever you are talking blah blah blah, and whatever you are a policy making, it will never work, because policy will not give a result itself. In order to come the result, people has to work, and they must be ensured. Suppose that I am talking that the para teachers and a Sikhya Sahayak, they were being paid 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000. So just think what happens in the 10,000 nowadays. What happens? Nothing happens. I am paying 13,000 house rent here. I am not saying that I am not trying to glorify, don't think in that way, but just I am trying to say what is the situation. If you will find a good 2 BHK house rent, you will rent, so it will range from minimum 10,000 to 15,000. 10,000 room will be small, and that there will be less possibility of entering light and fresh air, and obviously 13,000-14,000 you will get a good house, and they are being paid 10,000, 8,000, 9,000. So obviously their mind will be not focused fully towards their work. They will be thinking about earning something extra from other work, and they will devote the time also. And if they will devote, so you cannot expect that they will be fully dedicated, and whatever you have planned in the big policy, that will come to the ground. It will never come, because they are not fully dedicated. And how they will be dedicated? And sometime I have seen the administrators also, they say, sir, what I can do them and what I will tell them, because in 9 or 10,000 what they will get, so they are working for something else. So this is the situation. Even when we talk about the researchers in India, research scholars have not got their fellowship since 6 to 1 year. Some of the scholars have not got the scholarship since 1 year. My wife has not got the scholarship since last 6 months. So I am earning, she is also earning. So it manages. And that's why I was a JRF and I had left JRF and opted for a teaching. Otherwise I was getting more money as a JRF. It was about 40,000, because now I was a SRF in a category of. Even those who are a JRF also, they used to get a 30,000 plus house rent and all those things. It becomes like 35,000. But you will get, when you will get, no one knows. Even God don't knows when you will get the money. So if this is the situation, how you can expect that the quality research will come? It will never come. So that is the situation. So it is not only that the teacher should be paid highly paid, everyone should be paid respectable amount as per the need and a context. Suppose that 10,000 or a 5,000 or a 1,000 is sufficient enough. Okay, then give 1,000. If 10,000 is a sufficient enough, then give 10,000. If 1 lakh is a sufficient enough, give the 1,000, 1 lakh. So that needs to be taken care. That is my opinion, and I support you. But it is it should be extended to all. It should not be only the teachers. It should be for all. Okay. And any other question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so I am coming to the next point, that is the physical resources. When we talk about the physical resources, here we used to talk the different dimensions, like the finance, infrastructure, then how the finance will come, like from the contribution or donations, utilization, maintenance and expansion. We will see. Finance here used to see that the monetary part of the management or a development or a planning, so that out of the finance that we are getting, how it will be managed, what percentage of expenditure of a finance will be in which part. Okay, so that needs to be worked out, and if it won't be worked out, then obviously there will be a financial crunch in the institution. Then the infrastructure, you have to plan gradually, systematically, that what are your plan for the future, and for what for that plan, how much, what kind of infrastructure will be required. Then you have to also think about the donations and a grant and a contribution from the like-minded people, from the like-minded institutions, those who can financially support you. Then you have to think about the utilization, proper utilization of the finance and infrastructure. If you are unable to utilize the finance and infrastructure, then it is also threat. So for the proper utilization of finance and infrastructure, you have to make a systematic plan that what percent of finance is required for the expansion, is required for the maintenance, is required for which kind of a work. So that is from the financial part. One, there is a very again important aspect here when we talk about the issue that comes the coordination, and I was talking about also that the proper coordination is very much required. Even though you have a sufficient finance, you have a sufficient infrastructure, you have a very talented, committed, dedicated workforce, means the staff from the class 4 to the topmost, but there is no proper coordination among them, like the SMC, SMDC, parent, staff, student, management. I have not written the principal or headmaster because they are the part of a management, and they also are the member of a SMC or SMDC. So I have not written them separately. So the proper coordination is very much required, otherwise it will be very difficult. And for the proper coordination, we must have a communication at a regular interval. We should write the letters, we should inform them that what is happening in the school, we should invite them at a regular interval in the different program of the school. We should listen them, what are their opinion, what they are expressing, and when it is required or wherever it is possible, we should use their expertise also. Suppose that in the parents, in the society, some are expert on something, so we can call them for the extramural talk also. So like that we can make a strong bond with the different stakeholders, and that will support in the proper functioning. And obviously in the last I will tell that the context is very much important. Here we have to see about the societal need, the local need. What are the local needs? Suppose that we are trying to include some of the courses. Is it in line with the need of the society, so that the society will support, or it is not? So that we should also take care. That needs to be taken care. Otherwise it will be very difficult. The context, where it is in the rural area, whether it is in the urban area, whether it is in the tribal area, what are the facilities available? Okay, so accordingly we have to plan, and we have to see the local need and a context for that. Okay, so I think we should stop this class here, and again there will be a question answer session. If you have any kind of a question, you can ask now. Yes, any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so shall we stop this session here, because from 11 o'clock I have to start the MEd class also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you for being with me in this session.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.